Hey guys, I'm Slave to the Games, and this is yet another clan, well, in-depth explanation for Bloodlines 2. Thank you for stopping by, and just know that everything that I'm going to be telling you right now is pretty much word for word off the White Wolf Wikipedia, as it has been with the other clan videos. So, you know, shout out to them. They're doing a great job, as I've said in the other videos. I really enjoy reading and learning about these clans, as well as giving this information to you guys as well, and I think they deserve more attention. So if you want to check it out, I will have a link in the description below so you can read it yourself if you want. I do skip some things, but for the most part I keep everything in, except for, well, trying to keep out the TTRPG stuff. I am possibly going to go over some of it, because some of it I do view as being relevant. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. Clan Tremere is the clan we're going to be going over, and they're the second youngest of the vampiric clans, having just come into existence during the Dark Ages. In the little time since then, they have made incredible inroads within vampiric society and are arguably the most powerful clan in the modern Knights. This is due in no small part to their strict hierarchy, secretive nature, and master of thaumaturgy, all of which elicit suspicion, fear, and respect from other Knights. The Warlocks stand as a pillar of the Camarilla and are one of its main defenders, despite the fact that they exist almost as a subsect. Some even go so far as to consider themselves the evolution of vampirism, citing their extreme versatility of blood magic and lack of a true clan curse. The Final Knights have many things in store for the Tremere, however, and the more powerful they grow, the more their enemies gather, and in their bid for power, the Tremere have accumulated more enemies than most. The original Tremere clan weakness consists of an initiation which requires all neonates to drink from the blood of the 7 elders of the clan when they are created. This means that all Tremere are at least one step toward being bloodbound to the clan, and therefore must watch their step very carefully when they're around their leaders. Tremere also have the compulsion of perfectionism. Nothing but the best satisfies the vampire. Anything less than exceptional performance instills a profound sense of failure, and they often repeat tasks obsessively to get them just right. The Tremere began as House Tremere, mages of the Order of Hermes named for their leader and founder, Tremere. At the end of the first millennium, the members of House Tremere realized their hermetic arts were failing and found its immortality potions no longer working. Facing the possibility of losing everything, Tremere ordered research into alternative methods of sustaining their lives. House Tremere undertook numerous experiments, but it was Goratrix who devised a solution in his investigation of vampires. In 1022, Goratrix invited Tremere and 6 of the founders' closest advisors to participate in the completed ritual, which promised true immortality. Whether Goratrix knew what would happen is known only by him and perhaps Tremere, but at the completion of the ritual, the participants fell unconscious and were reborn as vampires, their avatars destroyed and magical abilities lost. The mages gained their immortality, but lost the power they lived for. Though the others would likely have slain Goratrix for his folly or trickery, Tremere ordered them to halt and declared that they would remain at his side, leaving their chantries in the hands of subordinates while they discovered the powers of their new forms in secret. In time, the Tismesi made war against House Tremere in retribution for the fiends that had been made part of Goratrix's experiment. The Order of Hermes also became suspicious of diabolical practices being performed by the increasingly secretive house, but Tremere was able to dissuade them from investigating further. Finally, in 1037, Tremere gathered the 7 newly made Knights and forced the blood bond upon them. He then declared to them that House Tremere would be reconstructed or restructured with a new pyramid hierarchy, placing himself at the top of Primus of House and Clan Tremere, and his 7 closest followers forming the inner council of 7 directly under him. They would slowly begin embracing the rest of the house, which each initiate being bound to the inner council to ensure their loyalty. In time, all members of House Tremere would die or become vampires. Over the next century, the Omen War with the Tismesi continued on and off, and yes, I know I'm probably mispronouncing it, guys, but we're gonna move on. I'm really bad at pronouncing certain things. With their mages growing weaker and those newly embraced unfamiliar with the powers of the blood, chantries as far as their stronghold of Syros were repeatedly ravaged, while Tremere and Etrius pursued their own research throughout Europe in converting the hermetic arts into thaumaturgy. Goratrix once again returned to his laboratories with his apprentices at hand. After years of experimentation on captured Tismasi, and I know I'm probably mispronouncing it still, Nosferatu and Gangrel, he succeeded in creating a gargoyle in 1121, and by 1125 the hybrids were serving as shock troops against the fiends. Nevertheless, the Tremere found themselves third-class citizens amongst the undead. Whatever boldness Tremere had shown in entering the night was ignored by the staunchly traditionalist clans, and they were often forced from cities by princes who did not look kindly on their presumption. Tremere's response to this was further boldness. As he and Etrius rapidly acquired more vampiric lore, they discovered the history of Cain and the antediluvians, as well as the benefits of diablerie. Seeking to establish themselves as a clan proper, the Tremere sought a clan founder to diablerize and settled on Solit, the enigmatic founder of the Salabri clan. In 1133, Tremere and the Inner Council discovered Solit's tomb in the Anatolian desert. Tremere diablerized the antediluvian and promptly entered torpor, leaving the Inner Council to lead the clan and destroy the remaining Salubri. As with everything else that the Tremere had done to this point, the result was a mixed blessing. Due to largely, the Merlinda's efforts, the Tremere were entrenched in many Cainite courts, their services as mages making them indispensable to princes across Europe. They were now accepted as one of the low clans, albeit considered usurpers, distrusted warlocks, and known diablerists. A vicious propaganda campaign painted the Salubri as infernalists and soul stealers, granting them some credit, and even those who knew better largely sat back while the Salubri were hunted to near extinction, for their arrogance had made them many enemies among the other clans. In 1202, the Order of Hermes finally discovered what had become of House Tremere, and sentenced them to death, resulting in a wizard's march. The Massasa War, as it would eventually be called, never officially ended, but neither side had the resources to sustain the war, and it subsided after a few decades, only to sporadically begin anew years later. The Tremere continued their hunt of Solit's descendants while making alliances with Hungarian Ventru against the Tismasi. By the 15th century, the Salubri were only a legend and the Tremere were completely acknowledged as a clan. The Inquisition was particularly hard on them, however, and they lost many of their cults and chantries. During this time, Goratrix used his influence and power to try to corrupt religious orders, most notably the Knights Templar, in order to seize potential artifacts held by the church and turn its hunters against his enemies. When his bid for power failed and the Knights Templar were branded as heretics, Tremere woke and summoned Goratrix to return to Cyrus to stand trial before the Inner Council. After being censored and stripped of his authority, Goratrix fled into the east, believing his assassination was imminent. Shortly thereafter, Etrius moved Tremere's torpid body to the Vienna Chantry, which became the new center for the clan. The formation of the Camarilla signaled the Tremere's rise to legitimacy. Though the Tremere did not suffer greatly from the Anarch revolt, the spread of thaumaturgy among the Anarchs by the Tremere and T-Tribute was a dire threat to the clan. The warlocks used their sorcery to facilitate communication and coordination of the elders needed to support such an endeavor and played a pivotal role at the Convention of Thorns, when they placed a curse upon the entirety of Clan Assamite, preventing them from drinking the blood of Cainites without extreme danger. The Assamites would never forgive the Tremere, their rivalry continuing into the present. At the same time, the Tremere and T-Tribute were also cursed so that anyone who partook of the Baldery would be branded by a mark visible to true Tremere. Such mighty feats were said to have been led by Tremere himself, who rose from torpor for the event, along with the entire Inner Council. In the 18th century, rumors were finally confirmed that Goratrix had joined the Sabbat and was gathering the majority of the Tremere and T-Tribute to form House Goratrix. Though the Tismasi ensured that they would never become influential within the sect, the betrayers' efforts brought them closer together in an ironic imitation of the main clan. During this time, the Tremere continued to spread throughout Europe and North America, with considerably less success in Africa and Asia. Despite this expansion, the clan maintained its hierarchy, and the web of communication leading back to Vienna and the Inner Council steadily grew. The Victorian Age saw a rise in occultism among mortals, and the Tremere were quick to capitalize. Infiltrating the many secret societies that sprang up among the upper and middle classes, they drew childer, servants, and herds from them. This also allowed the Tremere to practice their talents more openly, although still within the strictures of the Masquerade, and what once would have gotten an incautious magus burned at the stake for witchery, now enthralled and excited mortals with its concepts of divination, conjuration, and communing with spirits. In 1998, the Tremere and T-Tribute were wiped out. After being called to a chantry in Mexico City, they were completely destroyed in an unknown ritual. If any of the T-Tribute remain, those who did not attend the gathering, they are undoubtedly in hiding. More problematic was the increasing number of free gargoyles making themselves known within the Camarilla and those clamoring for more freedoms and rights despite the Tremere's attempts to keep them under their control. Far worse, the Tremere were beginning to take notice of a growing instability in thaumaturgy with frightening similarities to the failure of the hermetic arts that spurred Goretrix's experiments and the transformation into vampires. The curse placed upon the Assamite clan failed, with subsequent efforts to renew it unsuccessful, and the assassins hunted them with renewed vigor, even as a new faction of sorcerers and scholars sought membership within the Camarilla. The advancements made by the Tremere seemed to be met by further setback, and little reassurance was given from the top of the pyramid. The Tremere are the most strictly organized clan bar none, and every member knows where they stand in authority amongst their peers. This creates the illusion of total unison and cooperation for other Cainites, who rarely know anything of the Tremere hierarchy or inner politics. Their founder and namesake, the nominal antediluvian Tremere, sits at the top of the pyramid and supposedly directs the entire clan, though very few have ever seen him or witnessed his hand in action. Many do not even believe he is even a real person, but perhaps an ideal of the Tremere cause or a symbol of their unity. Beneath him, the importance of number 7 is emphasized, as each successive rank down is comprised of 7 to 1, starting with counselors, pontifices, lords, regents, magisters, apprentices, and acolytes. Counselors are the members of the inner council of 7 and the true rulers of the clan, each of whom is responsible for directing clan efforts in a particular portion of the world. Each counselor appoints 7 pontifices. Pontifices or pontifices, pontifex oversees a large region, such as parts of a nation or groupings of smaller countries and islands, and in turn oversees 7 lords. Lords are, well, each lord is responsible for a small country or a group of states and uses their influence and knowledge to sway the Tremere in their domain, specifically the regents. And the regents are the most visible figures of Tremere authority. A regent runs an individual chantry and is charged with the supervision of it, while the magisters, or a term to describe a Tremere that has not sought power but instead has become a trusted advisor who manages inter-chantry disputes, while magisters educate and see to the well-being of apprentices. And apprentices are the youngest and most numerous Tremere. Apprentices must spend much of their time training, serving some need within their chantry, or playing the politics of the clan as best as their inexperience allows. Some never advance beyond this rank, either because they are more interested in Camarilla politics or their own affairs to rise among the Tremere, or because the Lord of the Region sees no need to create a new chantry and region. And finally, the acolytes. They're the ones who lie below apprentices, a rank that includes Tremere that have not yet been accepted as part of the clan, as well as groups that are bound to the Council of 7, such as the Tremere. Well, below acolytes are ghouls and the servitors like gargoyles, of course. Each rank, save for the inner council itself, is further divided into 7 levels called Circles of Mystery. One circle of mystery denotes one of several characteristics that have earned them prestige and further responsibility, such as skill in thaumaturgy, years of experience in hard work, successful political machinations, or simple favoritism. The higher one's circle of mystery, the more authority and power they have access to, but they are also expected to provide more for the clan and given less tolerance for failure. Those of the 5th circle or above are also commonly called high members of their rank, such as High Apprentice or High Lord. Promotion and demotion is dealt by members of higher rank, though tribunals may also be called where accomplishments and failures are examined. The pursuit of promotion is one of the most motivating factors for the clan's members to excel and obey Tremere doctrine, though advancement is rarely as simple as that. The Tremere pyramid teems with conspiracies since the creation of the clan and the feud between Goretrix and Itrius. These houses of Clan Tremere are by now little more than cults of personality at their worst, but are distinct colleges of magic or philosophy at their most valid. The clan consists of an unknown number of houses, some claiming only a handful of members, while others, such as the House of Tremere, claim every chaldee of the clan. Many of these societies are tolerated as long as they do not threaten the foundation of loyalty to the clan. Known and accepted societies are Asters, Brothers of Absinthe, Children of the Pyramid, the Covenant, Elite, Guardians of Traditions, Quasitori, and I might have pronounced that wrong, and the Unbowed Mundanes. Asters are a secret organization that hunt traitors and infiltrators within the pyramid, while the Brothers of Absinthe are those who believe in the usage of certain drugs to elevate their consciousness and awareness in dreams. The Children of the Pyramid are people who revere the spiritual concept of the pyramid. The Covenant are a group that seeks knowledge of necromancy to combine it with thaumaturgy. The Elite are a group of Tremere that believe that they are the next step in vampiric evolution and are dedicated to show the supremacy of the clan. Guardians of Tradition are those who stand opposed to any change in policy and oppose all modern technology and conventions. The Quasitori are a remnant from House Quasitor that act as independent judges. The Unbowed Mundanes are a group of Tremere that lobbies for a better inclusion of those Tremere that show no aptitude for thaumaturgy. Besides them, there exist groups like the Eyes of the Serpent, which is a cell from the followers of Set, the Third Eye, a group of Tremere that seeks to atone for the genocide against the Salubri, and the Illuminated Brotherhood and the Order of the Worm, which are rumored to have connections to the demonic Bali. Membership in one of these societies can be punished with final death once it is known, and so these cults hide among the other members of the clan. Other societies die out due to lack of interest, such as the Humanist League or the Golden Path of Harmony. A few of the more prominent or notorious houses of Clan Tremere are, but not limited to, Trismegistus, Hashem, Rudolfo, Daughters of the Crone, Horn Society, High Saturday, Aurum Guild, Etrius, and of course Goratrix. In truth, the Tremere are a bloodline of the Thismesi, as it was the blood of fiends that was used to create them. Regardless, there are no bloodlines of Tremere in the modern Knights, as the clan's uniformity does not allow deviations. In the Dark Ages, there was a small variant known as the Teliavelic Tremere that was influenced by pagan practices and arose in Lithuania, but they are believed to be long extinct. Some of the house variants that we're going to go over is, well, first, the Tremere in T-Tribu. The Tremere in T-Tribu are those Tremere that followed Goratrix into exile, named House of Goratrix in opposition to their parent clan. There are rumors that Goratrix's flight was part of an orchestrated plan of the Tremere to have an agent in the rival sect, but these did not change the reaction of the Council of Seven. The T-Tribu found themselves cursed by the main clan. Upon their first Vauldery, a Tremere in T-Tribu receives a very painful mark of a T on their forehead that can only be observed by another Tremere, marking them forever as a traitor to the clan. Within the Sabbat, the Tremere in T-Tribu had a very low profile and rarely advanced in the ranks, mainly out of the grudge that many high-ranking Thismesi had against them. Despite this, the two worked together on occasion, for example during the creation of the Blood Brothers. The Tremere in T-Tribu had their greatest chantry in Mexico City, named the Universidad del Tercer Círculo de la Serpiente Dorada. Hopefully I pronounced that correct, I hope I did, where Goratrix himself resided. As of 1998, the original Tremere and T-Tribu were considered extinct, thanks to a mysterious ritual that burned the T-Tribu to ash in a single night. As far as the original Tremere and the Camarilla were concerned, that was the end of the traitors. While any Tremere could in the future defect from the clan and undergo the Vauldery, these were not explicitly considered in T-Tribu. Rather, they were just seen as Tremere with Sabbat allegiance. However, contrary to Tremere propaganda, the T-Tribu were not entirely destroyed. Some T-Tribu avoided the acquisition of the curse mark entirely, and a few of those that did have the curse mark also survived the ritual that killed the others. While their numbers were few at best, at the turn of the millennium, the Tremere and T-Tribu lived on, even if many of these survivors were actually Telavelic Tremere that had, from the start, faked having the curse mark and masqueraded as regular Tremere and T-Tribu. The next one is the Taliavelic Tremere. The Taliavelic Tremere were a bloodline of the Tremere in the Dark Ages. The founders of this bloodline split from their parent clan when they were sent to learn the magic of Eastern European pagans, which resembled Condenism in some ways. Those Tremere converted to the worship of the deity Telavail, and developed their own animistic branch of thaumaturgy, Salinic thaumaturgy, and this bloodline had particular weakness when confronted with faith. And the last variant we're going to be going over for this specific video is the Tremere, and they're not really a bloodline per se, but rather an unusual acquisition born out of need. The Tremere are a branch of Indian Tremere that bolstered their ranks with the hostile land by introducing non-Tremere kindred, usually low-ranking Ravnos and Nosferatu, via the blood bond to the inner council to ensure their loyalty. Aside from the clan hierarchy, Tremere are sometimes grouped into political factions and houses which range from cults to distinct colleges of magics or other intellectual pursuits. These groups are generally highly informal and maintain their own organization, if any at all, and some may even be at odds with one another. To the rest of Knight society, however, they always present a unified front, as I've said. Given their history as usurpers and power grabbers, they are obsessed with the image of reputation for their clan. The Tremere are one of the primary pillars of the Camarilla in the modern Knights, arguably second only to the Ventru in terms of the support and influence they possess. Most of this power comes from the Tremere's near monopoly of thaumaturgy, but also from the encouragement for individual Tremere to place clan interest high on their list of priorities. The clan is synonymous with blood magic, a fact that they use to instill fear and envy in others. While they are surely not the first thaumaturges in Knight history, despite claims to the contrary, their paradigm is one of the most flexible and expansive. The Tremere differ from the other thaumaturges by adopting a uniquely scientific approach to magic, and they encourage active experimentation. the result being a staggering array of thaumaturgical paths and rituals. Of course, no single individual knows every application of blood magic, and such knowledge is one of the main forms of barter within the clan. The clan places great value at the numerological value of the number 7, as I've said. The internal discipline of the mind mirrors the structure of the clan itself. Thoughts, desires, and fears have to be ordered in these 7 steps. Likewise, the pyramid teaches 7 lessons, those of discontinuity, hierarchy, apathy, favor, authority, documentation, and surveillance in order to shape their members into the desired form. The Tremere are very selective in who they embrace, and normally do so with a mind for the clan's needs, a condition reinforced by the fact that the local regent must give permission for an individual to be sired. Individuals of strong will or aggressive personalities are normally sought, provided they have a clear head and can learn to be a part of the greater whole that is the clan. Candidates were scholars in life, and many dabbled in the occult to one extent or another, though that is not a prerequisite. Of course, there are rogue embracers for the usual reasons, love, political gain, or accidents. Regents often have these mistakes killed immediately, with a suitable punishment leveled against the sire, but there are always some exceptions. Soon after being embraced, Tremere neonates are made to commit to the Tremere Code, which elaborates on what is expected of a Tremere and what activities would earn disfavor. The neonates has to drink the blood of the Inner Council of 7 through a ritual called the Transubstantiation of 7, bringing them one step towards a blood bond to the clan's leaders and ensuring some degree of loyalties to their peers. Afterwards, their training begins, even as they continue to grapple with their transformation into a vampire, memorize their traditions, learn to feed, and so on. These factors lead to a high rate of failure in newly embraced Tremere who may go mad or even commit suicide. Holy hell, guys. That was a lot, okay? That's it for this video. I read so much, I learned so much, and getting this all done and messing up a hell of a lot was just, it hurt my soul, it really did. But I'm glad I got to learn. Hopefully you guys learned something interesting as well. This is going to take a bit to put together, but I do hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, or follow, depending on the platform you're watching this on, if you did, enjoy it. I really hope you guys keep on enjoying the series. I like the feedback I'm getting. I really love seeing you guys continuously looking forward to the new videos I release, and don't worry, there will be more. I plan on going over every single clan in it, and like I said, once again, a shout out to the White Wolf Wiki of Fandom. They're doing a great job, and I will continue to use them all the way up until I'm done with the, clan part of this series. Thank you guys for stopping by, and I will once again catch you in my next release or stream. You guys enjoy your day.